Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's that time again. Yeah, it's that time. End of the year review, year end recap. Time to be mad at the Game Awards again. It feels like it's something every year. but truly, thank you for clicking on this, for joining me, chatting it up with me for a little bit. We're going to get into news. I know you've seen it. I know you have seen it. I'm sure it's been all over your feed, your timeline, wherever your HQ on the internet is. I'm sure you've seen it. All hell is breaking loose in regards to good old Jeff Keighley's Game Awards and the choice of nominees. Oh man, we're going to get into it. But I want to get into something real quick that was pointed out to me last night. Apparently, Mr. Keighley is trying to copyright the term the Game Awards. How do you try to copyright such a basic name? That's insanity. And that is just a further attempt at trying to become, what, you want to become the Bible for gaming? You want to be the one sole authority on what exactly makes a good game. And I think that literally sums up the problem people have with this show consistently. At first, the Game Awards, it felt like a way of life. I mean, there's been Game Awards for a while, long before the Keighley era. I think his era started 2014, 2015. And so it's always been around. But I think a lot of us just assumed, just run it from one into the other, not realize it was essentially two different eras. So the thing is, it used to, at the very least, you had the trailers to look forward to. I used to look at the Game Awards just another E3, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I would tune in, catch the trailers. Hey, if something I played this year, if it ends up getting some credibility, that's even better. Go team. Let's do it. Let's do it again next time. Great. It's just slowly starting to feel, and this is just coming from my perspective, it just started to feel like the more popular the Game Awards was getting, the more corporate it was getting, and now the less it seems it is for the gamers themselves. That's just the vibe I get. I always get this feeling as if they expect just us, the average Joes, us gamers, to just be like sheep, to just herd us. Most of them are going to go to the show. Most of them are going to tune in. But to hell with your voice. To hell with what you actually have to say. Look at the nominee situation. Before we get into it, Keighley just stuck his fingers in his ears and was like, and we're going to have the orchestra there. So it's like fingers in his ears. He doesn't care about what you have to say as long as your presence is there. And so if we factor that in with what happened last year with the presenters, well, not the presenters, but the actual people in this field that won awards, and how fast they got rushed off the stage. They couldn't give their acceptance speech. They couldn't say their thank yous to their teams, to their families. They couldn't do none of that. So in my mind, if it's to hell with the gamers, it's not for the gamers. You're not thinking about us. You're not even thinking about the people that work in this industry, because you're not even giving them the chance to live up some type of glory for this thankless job that they do. So if it's not about the gamers and it's not about the people that work in this industry, bro, who the hell is this show for? Who is it for? It's all about the money, man. It's all about the money. And I get it. Everything needs money. You need money to exist, sadly. I get that. But man, this I'm this shit ain't fun no more. Screw it. I mean, I don't have enough viewers to be monetized anyway. Why am I filtering myself? This shit ain't fun no more. And I know I forgot to mention this. I know there's some people of a different party, and because one thing I really want to try to do on this channel is I want to try to be the voice for the voiceless, and I'm gonna try to glance at everybody's perspective to see if I can make sense out of it. But there is another side of this, of people that just, they question everybody as to why do they hold the Game Awards to such a high merit. Or the thing that they love to say is, your game of the year is what you feel it is. And that is very true. And I will get to in a second why I feel, at least, I'm not going to say it's a fact, but why I feel that people hold it to such a high regard. So we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, this just isn't fun no more. It's getting to the point where you kind of just watch it out of an obligation. Fortunately for me, I'm going to have very good company when I watch it. So whether it's a good or a bad show this year or any year, it's usually the company makes it worth it, you know. But yeah, let's get into these nominees. I have to pull up the nominees real quick, and bear with me if I sound all messed up. I'm fresh out of being sick. I'm better, but I'm not quite 1,000% just yet. My lungs feel all crazy still, but we gonna do it live. So just bear with me on that point if I sound messed up. But let's get to the nominees specifically for Game of the Year, because that's the big catch. We have Metaphor Refantasio. I hope I said that right. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that of course. Balatro, that game looks very interesting. I didn't play it, but it looks very interesting. Astrobot hit the ground running. Black Myth Wukong. And last but not least, but I'm sure some would say least, we have Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. So yeah, we have here 5 games and 1 DLC expansion. A DLC expansion has been nominated for the Game of the Year. Okay, I'm going to try to say this as clean as possible. But in my heart of hearts, I really feel that this is a rare occasion where there is absolutely no excuse for this. You know, how many other games came out this year that got shafted because they had to get these 6 and they chose a DLC expansion? Isn't there already a DLC category? Isn't it called best expanded game, or I don't know what the category is, but I'm fairly certain there is a best DLC / expansion category. This isn't right, man. This isn't right. And I want people specific. You don't take anything else from what I'm saying, because a lot of times I say this stuff and I will admit I'm just the cog on the wheel. The whole thing's going to keep turning whether I'm there or not. I'm just speaking my point. Please think about the long-term repercussions if this DLC expansion wins Game of the Year. Now, first of all, it might be fire. It might be heat. It might be very good. It does not matter. It is not a game in and of itself, and I'll gladly admit I didn't play it. Whether I played it or not really doesn't matter about this specific topic. But I heard that you have to beat Elden Ring or get a certain distance in Elden Ring to even play this. So you can't even play this off the rip. This is janky. This is not a good decision, and there's no excuse for it. And I find it hilarious when they had to put out a disclaimer saying that DLC expansions would be eligible, everybody already knew. Everybody knew Friday what was going to happen yesterday, which was Monday. That's crazy to me. If this wins Game of the Year, this will be the goal for a lot of games now. And quite frankly, some might not see the problem with it. Overall, I think it's going to be selfish, because some people will put out a hit game, know the expansion is coming, and then we're just going to make that a regular thing of them just sliding it back into being Game of the Year X amount of years later. If No Man's Sky dropped a new expansion that completely overhauls the game in like Unreal Engine 5 or whatever, just right on top of what the skeleton of the game was, does No Man's Sky get a nomination next year? If they do it, do they like, you really don't want to open this can of worms, because I can see so many ways of this going bad. It's going to go bad. And also, if more people, now don't get me wrong, some games could probably use some extension, definitely, but let's not eliminate the fact that some games you just get tired of, or some games need a true upgrade that DLC expansions just cannot do. Look at some games and how much they got better in their sequels. Some games need that. Dude, I've been playing GTA 5 for 10 years. Shit, 11 years. I got GTA 5 at launch on the PS3. And I still play on the PS4. I didn't get the 5 version. I'm playing the PS4 version on the PS5 because I haven't upgraded yet. But regardless, I have played that game so much that I know my way around Los Angeles without ever being there. I know landmarks. I know the highway. It is crazy how I know the highway to Los Angeles / Los Santos like I know the highway to Chicago. It is hilarious. But I am dying for GTA 6. I'm dying for something new. So what's going to happen now? So are we going to eliminate sequels now too? Is that going to become the thing? Everything's going to be expanded. So, and also when I say this is selfish, also think about people's storage capabilities. You're going to have games on your storage that's just going to keep consuming more storage, bro. How much do you really love that game? Sometimes you want to take a moment away. Uninstall. Like, okay, I played up to this point. I'm going to uninstall this, download this, play something else and all that. If this kind of stuff starts to become the norm, you're not going to get a chance to get that. And there's some people out there that are completely fine with it. Hey, more power to you. I'm not really talking to you. I'm speaking about those people like myself where I play a little bit of everything. I play every genre. It doesn't matter what amount of storage I get. It's going to get full because I play all genres. I play sports games. I play RPGs, JRPGs, action adventures, shooters. If it interests me, I will play it. And sometimes I drive myself crazy going in so many directions. The last thing I need is a game that's just going to keep eating up more storage and keep getting in my way. So I just feel that if the can of worms is going to open, because this is a very trendy field now. It's like now more than ever, other studios look at what is hot and they all go and they all chase after it. So for once, I would just like us to think what will happen in the long term should the can of worms that's going to be open. Consider that. This is not a game, and yet it's nominated for Game of the Year. So we shall see what happens. I've seen some uh, fans of Elden Ring say, as much as I love this expansion, it's a 10 out of 10. It should not be up for Game of the Year. This seems very common sense filled. And then, of course, there are some people that are diehard FromSoft fans, and they are saying, oh, we have a chance to do something amazing. And they wanted to win. And, you know, for those people, I really have nothing to say to you guys, because I know for a damn fact that if the tables turned, you would be jumping from the ceilings. You would be burning the house down. If there was a time in the future and FromSoft has some hot new Souls game, I don't know, some game that's like, it's like a Souls game that based off the lore of Dr. Seuss, and you play as the cat in the hat in a suit of armor or something like that. Yo, I am generating that image. You should see the image by now, because I just had a funny visual in my head, and yeah, I got it. Yeah. But yeah, a Souls game based on the lore of Dr. Seuss, and you play as a cat in the hat that's a knight or something like that. I don't know. And you knew like yeah, this is definitely Game of the Year material at least. And if it didn't get nominated, or it got nominated and didn't win, and you see any spot on there that a DLC expansion was there, just by default, because people need something to blame, you would blame the DLC expansion. Why is this even here? You know, Resident Evil 4 caught that last year, and I thought that was a great game to where, yeah, the guts was still kind of similar, but I personally felt it was different enough to be nominated. But you know, that's neither here nor there, because this a DLC expansion is much worse. It's not even a game of itself. So yeah, for those people, I already know. I'm like, if the tables would turn, you'd be acting a fool. So I really have nothing to say to you guys. You guys want it to win. You don't want to think in the grand scheme of things, then fine, so be it. But I personally always feel that the priority in this field should always be trying to get more games out there, more newer games out there. And that's not like I have anything against sequels. Of course, you're going to have sequels to some games, because some games have elements that you want to build on. So yeah. So, but this just doesn't seem right, man. It's like, for a game to come out, get its flowers already, and then to be eligible again, all in the same title. Nah, man, that's not right. And like I said, the DLC could probably be absolute fire. It could be heat and all that, but that doesn't matter. Does not matter. So we shall see what happens. But I honestly feel that if this does happen, if this DLC does win this Game of the Year, that's the last piece of straw on the patience people will have for this show. Now, I'm not stupid enough to say it's going to kill the show altogether, but it's going to be harder after this. You will not be taken seriously. There might be dips in viewership, who knows, but they might not need that many people anyway. It's going to be harder from this point on if they decide to do that. But honestly, my personal opinion, I have a feeling in my gut that come next year, there's going to be a separate category for DLC and expansions. And they're going to act like, oh, we heard you. We heard what you said, guys, and now we have best expansion of the year, like some whole new category now or something like that. Watch, man. Just watch. That's what I really feel like is going to happen. They're going to be like, we heard you. But yeah, we shall see. Regardless, I'll be tuned in. I'll have good company with me, and yeah, we will see what happens. Anything before I go into the, yeah, okay. So real quick before I go into my game of the year, I said before that there are some parties that ask why do we hold the Game Awards in such a high regard, and why does something has to be the game of the year. Now, okay, there's a dark side to every fan base. There are some people that are obsessive with that game of the year term, but I feel that by default it's held to such a high regard because to have that title of game of the year, that can make a studio. That can be the rocket to the back of a studio. That's how you make a new rock star. That's how you make a new Sucker Punch, a new Insomniac Games. That boost is good. It does good. It's like you want to see people be elevated, and more so, don't think about just the game itself. I think most people that look at and they really want something to win the game of the year, they want that team to get that credibility. It's like being in the mob and becoming a made man. Like, yes, get your flowers, get bumped up in those credentials, so when they see the name of your development team, they know, oh, we got some fire coming. We got something really good coming. That's why people hold it to such high regard. It's not so much for the game itself, but it's for the team, because it does so much for them. It does. I've watched Rocksteady. That was who I was thinking of. Rocksteady, when they did they didn't even win Game of the Year with the Arkham series. As far as the mainline game of the year game awards go, but man, it made them just to be nominated. They did Game of the Year editions of the games and all that. So yeah, there actually is something that helps to get that, and most people want that for the team, for the workers. So that's why it's held to such a regard. Yes, obviously your game of the year is whatever you want it to be, but I just wanted to explain that, and and not everybody thinks like that. Some people are obsessive, and yeah, I can't speak to them, but I just really wanted to get into that. But that's all the turkey talk. That's all the informative part. Let's go into and wrap this up with Game of the Year discussions. My Game of the Year is definitely, if you talk to me, you've known this, is Black Myth Wukong. Easily. Very quickly, I love Journey to the West. Journey to the West inspired Dragon Ball, which is my favorite media, which is my favorite franchise, I meant to say, excuse me. Journey to the West was very influential in a lot of things that you probably love, like truly. And Black Myth Wukong works as like a dark sequel to that. And I don't want to spoil it so much, even though it's hard to spoil, because quite frankly, the game doesn't tell you shit. Like, if you want to figure out the story, you have to pay close attention to the dialogue and read a lot of the information that you picked up. Fortunately for me, I knew the story of Journey to the West, so it was much more quicker for me to catch on to what was happening. But however, because they don't tell you nothing, exploring is a little bit of the thrill. This is not the only game to do that, but the world was very, very cool. Journey to the West, there's a lot of anthropomorphic animals. There's dog warriors, crow warriors, very, very exotic. Look, you play as a monkey with a stick, basically. It's a very, very interesting world, and a lot of times you're going to look at some of those enemies and you're going to be like, what the hell is that? Is that an eel? That an eel with a katana sword? What the hell is that? And then you're gonna fight it, and then you're gonna beat it up, and then you're gonna go, man, that was cool. Trying to think what else. There's been a lot of debate on whether it was a Souls game or a Souls-like. It's very Souls-ish, but it gives you a little bit of a break. It definitely it gives you a lot of a break, actually. It can get difficult. The combat is very good, actually. But the biggest thing about what Black Myth Wukong does, it gives you the chance to become stupid overpowered if you want to seek that, because it actually promotes you doing New Game Plus. It insists on you doing New Game Plus and stacking all your upgrades every time you run it through. You're not at like maximum strength until you do your third New Game Plus. Until you start your third New Game Plus. Then you're at God mode after that. You are like, I've uninstalled the game because I'm at the point now I'm just slaying everything because I took that extra time to do the grind and become overpowered. And the fact that the game allowed me to do that, I mean, you could get pretty overpowered if you're very detail oriented on your first playthrough. I like that depends all on you. Doesn't hold your hand. So yeah, so between that, some of the boss fights, the story is dramatic. The story is what I'm actually saving for the last portion of it, because I really don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, screw it. I'm like, this is going on pretty long, so I need to wrap this up. But the story of Black Myth Wukong, without going into it, it resonated with me heavily. And I'm the type of guy where if you've talked to me, a lot of things I picked up in life I got from fictional media, and not taking it literally, but like internally translating it to make it more easy to follow, basically, transferable, however you want to put it. Like, for the longest time, like my sense of morality, a lot of that, I didn't have a lot of like physical role models in front of me. So, and I read a lot of comic books, Marvel, DC, and all that. That more so, I had to piece all those things together to scope my own sense of morality. I had to do that myself. Media has a way that it can touch you more than almost anything else can. Hell, Max Payne 3, the game Max Payne 3, that helped me stop a very bad run of alcoholism I had. It helped me stop, and it was like I will be forever indebted to that game for that. It just had to show me. It just put it in my face, and it gave me a chance to just stop just drinking from such a bad place. I still occasionally drink, but I was in such a bad place then. It's like now it's much more in control, and I'm not even like at risk of ever falling back to that. So my debt will always go to Max Payne 3 for getting me out of that. So with that being said, Black Myth Wukong, the overall theme of this game is freedom, and what Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, is willing to do to be free. And that touched me. I remember I had a conversation with one of my bestest friends ever. Shout out to you, Steph. This is the shout out I was talking about, so salute. But we had a conversation about how there's sometimes there's something you feel and you can't convey it. And there's a moment where something you watch, whether it be a show, a movie, a book, video game, they somehow are able to shape it up so well that it makes it tangible, and it doesn't make you feel crazy. It's like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm thinking, or this is what I've been going through. Like, it sometimes you have those thoughts or feelings, and it doesn't you don't know how to visualize it, and these things help you do that. And what Black Myth Wukong did, and what Sun Wukong was willing to do for his freedom, it hit me so hard because it made me look at it and immediately reflect on how in my own life I feel like I am trapped. I want to be free from all this bullshit that happens in my life. And I'm not going to go into all of it. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But there's a lot of stuff I go through. And I think I even told Stephanie once, I think I called it a curse. I said a curse of my life, because it almost feels like it's actively trying to just keep me here. Because no matter what I do, it's always something, and next thing you know, I've lost a lot of time and I'm still in this cage. And this game, it put it right in my face so strongly and so beautifully. It motivated me to the point where I'm taking a lot of steps now to finally change in my life. Making a big change for my life. That's more big. I don't want to make it seem like I'm bumming it out or nothing, but like, I'm not where I want to be. And this game, and just how it put everything in front of my face, it really just motivated me to do more, to change my scenario. Like, I need to physically move out of my cage. And that man, it's almost too overwhelming to even talk about right now, to be honest. But I appreciate the game for giving me that push and giving me a visual, just making things tangible and something to just grab onto and just know that, okay, fight for your freedom. I said it in a post I made. I said, freedom is precious. Fight like hell to claim it or to retain it. But you're not crazy for wanting it. And that alone, on top of everything, it's a great game. I love the combat. I love the lore and all that. But the significance of his story, that touched me right in my soul, and it changed me. It changed me because I am going to have my freedom. I am going to be better. And yeah, nothing is going to stop me. So, okay, this is getting way too long. So, Black Myth Wukong is my game of the year. It easily. Now, if it gets the credibility I feel it deserves, amazing. But if it doesn't at the Game Awards show, then so what? I'm probably gonna just play it again out of spite. It's whatever. It's whatever. I would love for that team, though. I would love for them to get their flowers. I really would. But we'll see what happens. So that is it. I get ready to end this with two things. One, I want to ask you, if you made it all the way through this, what is your game of the year? Goddamn train. If you hear that, I'm sorry. But what is your game of the year? Sound off below. Let's hear it. Let's discuss it. Sell me on what it was. Maybe I should try it. Train's getting louder now. And also, I will end with the visual. This one video from Black Myth Wukong that every time I feel myself mentally being taken off my course of bettering my life, I watch this video every time. And yeah, I just love it. It's just a great visual. It's essentially Sun Wukong essentially going, no matter whatever happens, you keep moving forward. That's just it. You just keep going. And it's not even a minute long, and I'll tell you, I probably watch it once a week just to fortify my resolve. And yeah, so we're gonna end it with the video. It's gonna play in a minute or so. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it all the way here, I can't appreciate it enough. If you're new here, subscribe, please. If I earned it, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to beat it over your head. If I earned a subscription, please do. The goal is a video a week. I'm gonna really try to hit that. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Take care. Peace.
Bottoms up, brothers! One final toast before we crash the Celestial Palace!